Fred. I'm a mapaholic. Madam Toastmaster, fellow members and guests. I'm a mapaholic. I spend hours and hours studying maps of all the cities and states throughout this great nation. I dream of going on automobile rides all over the world, going up coastal highways, traveling through ghost towns, four-wheeling, enjoying all the fantastic treats of the local areas. Fried clams, homebrew, beer, baked goods. I dream of these things. And what's really interesting is, how did all these outlandish names come to be? I always wondered about that. And I discovered through my research that quite often, prominent people in the areas is what the names of these towns came to be. But very often, there's a lot of confusion. Boring, Oregon, 22 miles south of Portland. My neighbor, former Oregonian, he says it's a beautiful little town. It's a gorgeous town. It's not boring at all. It was named after William Boring, but it's a beautiful town. But you know, if the name begins to bother you, you can always hop on the fastest train around and go to Southwest Texas, to the crazy town of Looneyville, Texas. Named after John Looney, who had a store there and they had the post office there. But maybe after a while, staying in Looneyville begins to make you a little too loony too. The thing to do is sneak on a plane and put yourself, your frame, to the town of Normal, Illinois. Everything is just always just right in this perfect little town of Normal, Illinois, located in the center of America, the heart of normalcy. After a while, you may find normal is abnormal. The cure, my prescription, is go across the line. Go across the line to Missouri. Frankenstein, Missouri. What a treat to be in Frankenstein on a Halloween night. A monster's delight. Frankenstein was named after a monster. No, he wasn't. He was named after. Frankenstein was named after Godfrey Franklin, actually. Well, moving on, sometimes quirkiness is just the source of some of these names. 9 times South Carolina. I called 9 times to find out to find out this riddle in my mind. I mean, why 9 times? Why not 8 times? Possibly 10 times. The local realtor called me back, and he said, the river, Crow Creek, crosses through the highway 9 times as it goes through town. So that's how it got its name, 9 times. Makes sense to me. Quirkiness. Just a minute, Mark. Scratch ankle. Scratch ankle, Alabama. That's another name for quirkiness. I talked to Nate, the resident, Nate Johnson, and he said, we got black gnats the size of red bugs. He said, come on down, sit outside in the afternoon, and roll your pant legs up, and you'll find out why they call our town Scratch Ankle. Now, howdy, aren't your britches just itching to go to that little piece of heaven? My goodness, well, quirkiness does play a part, but sometimes actually previous events in a different area may cause the names to be named after them. My next 2 choices were actually named after four-legged creatures. The first one, Hungry Horse, Montana. Hungry Horse, Montana. In the year 1900, there was a big blizzard, and 2 horses, logging horses, Tex and Jerry, wandered off. After a month, they were located, all scraggly and hungry, but they were still alive. Hence, the name Hungry Horse, Montana. Now, the other little town I was thinking of, Yeehaw, Florida, was originally called Jackass Junction. This little town was named actually after the burro. Many, many years ago, the ranchers that lived in the area would ride their burros into town, stop off at the Desert Inn, which happened to function as the local brothel. And after a while, the founding fathers decided when they were going to be putting a highway through town that it might be a good idea to change the name. So that's what they did. They changed the name to Yeehaw, which is a pretty prudent decision. How would you like to be announced as the next speaker at your Toastmasters meeting? As the speaker from Jackass Junction. I wouldn't go over too well. Quite often, geography plays a part in the way they get different names of towns. I'm thinking of Wye, Arizona, a little community about 30 miles above the Mexican border in Pima County. This little town is where Highway 85 and Highway 86 merge. And so that's how they got the name Wye. But the Postal Service said, no, you can't just have one letter in order to get your mail. So they had to add a W and an H, and that's how they got the name Wye, Arizona. A little more amusing story, I think, is Monkey's Brow, Kentucky. Monkey's Brow, Kentucky. Yeah, it's located in Ballard County. Now, Ballard County is shaped like a monkey's head. And this little town in the hills of southwest Kentucky, right where it's located, is where the eyebrow of the monkey is. So that's why it's called Monkey Eyebrow, Kentucky. It's right up the road from Possum Trot. So geography does play an important part. Now, once in a while, actually the crazy thing is sometimes that towns are just named silliness or just strange quirkiness. But the one that really comes to my mind would be a town called Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. Okay, have a good day. It was originally called Hot Springs, New Mexico. Now, you may not know about this, but there was a radio show by the name of Truth or Consequences. And the host said, I'll tell you what, if any town out in America were to change the name to Truth or Consequences, then he would do his personal radio show right from the town. So that's what Hot Springs did. They changed their name to Truth or Consequences. And Ralph, who happened to be the host of the show, Ralph Edwards, showed up, and for 50 years, every year around the first weekend in May, he would show up, and they would have a fiesta honoring the fact that they had changed their name to Truth or Consequences. What some cities will do for a little notoriety, but the town that really takes the cake is 23 Skidoo. That's located in Death Valley, California, the hottest spot in the nation. 23 Skidoo came left in a heated rush. Very interesting town. They mined gold there for a few years, one of the big mining gold mining areas in California. And it got its name 23 Skidoo from a local saying at the time, 23 Skidoo. And the 23 really worked, though, because it was founded January 23rd, 1907, had 23 gold mines, 23 miles of water lines, and by the year 1923, all the gold was gone, and it was time for them to skidoo. Which means it's my time to to have a real passion, be a mapaholic like myself, we can always get together and meet and have a treat and possibly and a Toastmaster.